I can tell you, growing up one of 8 in a large Irish Catholic family in St. Paul, Minnesota, number 7 of 8, with siblings 14, 15 years older than you. And everybody sitting at the kitchen table at night, 5:30, you had to be there. Mom served at 5:30. And we were all at the table, 10 of us. And I learned at an early age that it wasn't all about me. I couldn't talk about the Bugs Bunny cartoons or, what Linda White wrote that day or, I had to be a part of the conversation. My father, a World War II vet, older siblings, baby boomers primarily, and me and my younger brother. The value, the wisdom, that information that I got as a 7, 8-year-old, when your brother and sister are going to college, and you hear the ups and the downs, and you learn these insights, and it wasn't because I was talking about Bugs Bunny as much as listening to my older siblings get through their late teens, early 20s. And I realized that information is a commodity. And it wasn't because I was talking about it, it was because I was gaining it. That was something that I realized and quantified getting out of college as a salesperson. It wasn't all about me. A lot of salespeople would argue it. But because it wasn't about me, it was about my clients. I spent 14 years in the highly competitive office equipment industry. High-end copiers. I competed against Xerox, but I wasn't Xerox. I was a small dealership in Minneapolis, or St. Paul, dealing with several large companies. I was their walking building. So I learned the edge early that the equation was the product plus the service plus me got the deals from me. Many clients I had in those 14 years, 10 plus years. And it wasn't because it was about me, it was about them that I learned how to listen. And I can share with you a very painful time when I didn't listen very well. It was with a major account with my company. It was an existing major account that I took over. And it was going pretty well for a year or two. I got to know the account. There's probably 20 plus copiers, all high-end, $20,000 or more, all leased, all over the building. They were a big collection agency in Minneapolis. They brought in a new buyer. Here I was, had probably 10 sales in the last year under my belt. I had momentum. I knew the account. I was servicing the account. If there was a problem, I knew about it. The new buyer came in, wanted to do something a little different. What he wanted was all the leases, copier leases, all to sync up. Basically, bring brand new copiers on one day and 36 months later remove them and then get a whole new batch of leased copiers. I took a very prudent move going, well, this one's been here 3 months. We'll just leave that one here. And the one on the 3rd floor, we'll just leave there too. We'll work prudently. And I thought I was doing him a service by saying, you really don't need to trade this one out. It's barely broken in. Well, what happened was I lost a $100,000 deal for the company. Because I did not hear and understand that this new buyer, this gentleman, wanted 20 brand new copiers all coming in December 1st and 36 months later leaving on November 30th. That's what he was telling me. I was not listening actively. And I lost the deal. I brought in several new major accounts after that, being a better listener than the next salesperson. And I carry that everywhere I go. That pain, that memory comes back to me. When I didn't listen to understand, I thought I was listened enough to provide the customer service. Very painful. So when I talk to groups about active listening and to grow your business, and I understand there's some people in the nonprofit, there's people in faith organizations, there's people in political parties, small business owners, franchise owners, that it applies. Kevin had mentioned that I do some career counseling, and I do. I'm a career specialist, and I help people reinvent, recalibrate, retool their careers. The average age of my client with my company, Ripple Connects, is about 53. If someone's in sales and you're calling on someone in a different generation, they may listen differently. They may have different expectations. But as a business owner, if you're a Gen Xer, are you not going to call on a millennial or call on a baby boomer? Of course not. You're not going to. But you have to find a way to connect with them, understand where they're coming from. And that's where active listening comes in once again. Tell me where you're at, where are you coming from? Where do you want to go? Where do you want to grow your business? And curiosity brings about conversation. Staying in the moment allows it not too quick to move on to telling. And listen intently. Listen for understanding so we can pick up on advantages to best help them. And it could be a new client. It could be a new partnership. It could be a new faith or a church member. It could be a new account. We take those steps to grow our businesses by doing things that the average nonprofit business development professional or salesperson or small business owner or CEO doesn't do. We can stand out. And that's how business growth is driven. When you start building that foundation. That foundation for ultimately strong business relationships. So that being said, excuse my clip art because I want these images to stay with you. Who remembers the teeter-totter? I don't even think they're on playgrounds anymore, right?
They are?
Yes.
There's some somewhere.
But if you were ever on a teeter-totter and your little brother jumped off, you were coming down, you'd want to dress like that. Yep. Boom. But when you were sitting there just chatting about sports and just talking, there's balance, right? Balance. It's called a teeter-totter. That balance in conversation goes a long way. Dominated by one side or purposely playing coy. Some people will just sit back. No. Strive for balance. Everything in nature, everything in relationships, everything in balance is good. And so, Scott, if you remember me mimicking a teeter-totter, do it then. The next time you have a conversation. But I do this, don't tell. I do that for a reason. I want that to stay with my seminar participants. If you know, don't tell right away, and you ask, you're in a better chance to have that balance in conversation, right? Because, Scott, if you did get the chance to talk at him, you might have.
Guilty as charged too, yes.
Yeah. And I've been there. I'm one of 8 kids. Believe me, I am not perfect. But when there isn't balance and you're being talked at, the first reaction is, all right, my turn. And there's not balance there, and it's probably not as, the key word, productive a conversation as you would have liked if there would have been balance from the beginning. Agreed? Think about the simplicity of the balance, but something out of balance. If you got a chance to finally talk, you may have responded to that person differently if there would have been more of an interaction or talking with each other, right? And that's what we strive for. Strive for talking with each other. I do some outreach, and when I work go to the Minnesota State Fair and some of these events, and someone wants to tell me something, and they feel they're animated, I go, I will certainly have a conversation with you, but there's one rule I have. We're going to step over here. We're going to have a conversation. And one rule: you can't talk at me. You got to talk with me. Are you to agree to that? And you should see the look on their face, like, wow. And they either agree or not. I won't be talked at. I will listen. But it is important that we don't tell people, we ask, we share that balance. And I'm building an equation here.